Well, hello and welcome to a very special Alpha Anywhere demo and Q&A webcast. My name is Dave McCormick. I'm VP of Product Management here at Alpha Software, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Bachir Yazbek, who's coming to us from Lebanon. Not Lebanon, Pennsylvania, but the real one in the Eastern Mediterranean. And for those of you who have been to previous DevCons in the past, you may have met Bachir. He's spoken at quite a few of them. I believe I met Bachir either 4 or 5 years ago at the DevCon in Boston, where he did a presentation on an application he was building for a company called Xerox, and it absolutely blew people away at how detailed and feature-rich this was. He really knows his stuff when it comes to Alpha. And today, Bachir is going to tell you everything you need to start to be dangerous with Microsoft Power BI and business analytics. So I can't wait to get started. Let me take Bachir off mute and see if he's there. Hello, Bachir, are you there?
Hi, good
morning.
You are.
Hi, let me go ahead and make you the presenter.
Thank you for your presentation, and I would like first to thanks Dave and Alpha staff to let us make a presentation over this integration between Power BI and Alpha software. So I would like first to introduce you to a little bit to Power BI. So Power BI is a kind of analytic tool developed by Microsoft. So here you can see a dashboard that has been developed through Power BI desktop. First of all, we can start by creating a connection over the database, and after that, we can access the database through our desktop, and as well getting access to the field. So we have access to all the tables and their fields through the Power BI desktop.
Bachir, I seem to have just lost your screen there for a minute. You want to maybe click share screen again? Or if not, I can... Let me hear. You know what? I'm going to switch, and then I'm going to switch back.
Sorry,
it's just a technical difficulty.
Is it fine?
Make you the presenter. Okay. You should see a dialog box now asking to share your screen. And okay, great. It's all set now. Ready to go. Thank you.
Sorry. So I was saying that through Power BI desktop, we can access our database, tables, and fields. And by that, we will be able to create visuals, what we call in Power BI. So here we have like tables, it's a cumulative cash flow based on dimensions tables. What is interesting now is what we'll be able to this API is to do any modification over this dashboard, and through publishing methodology, we will be able to publish into Alpha platform. So I'm going to do a small demo for that. Now if I will go to Alpha platform, here I'm on the web. Okay. So what we have seen on Power BI desktop, it's now embedded inside Alpha. And we will have the possibility to create like a list of reports that are identified by report ID, group ID, and to show them within Alpha. So let's start now by the step that will lead us to this integration. First of all, I would like the Alpha user need to download the Power BI desktop. So all this information will be accessible on our website, www.bybuild.com, Abyss API. We call that ABIS API for Alpha Business Intelligence Service API. So all this information and the steps that we need to follow for integration, the user can get them over this link.
Oh, that's great.
So first of all, when clicking on this link, we need to download the Power BI desktop. So I'm not going to do it now, but just to give an indication for the user. So we download it for free, and we can sign up for free as well. For Power BI, we can have at the first stage 90 days free trial. And after that, if you want to get a official subscription, we will pay $10 per month. So it's not really expensive to the result we are going to get. Once we download and we install the Power BI desktop, we will have something like that. So empty page. We will start by creating our connection. So we can connect to the SQL Server. So we will put the IP of the server, the database name, and we prefer to choose the mode direct query. Direct query will let the user to get immediate refresh over data, while import it's more relevant when the query are a little bit more complicated, and we especially have Azure subscription where we are hosting our database within Microsoft. So for personally, I recommend to use direct query, especially when we have our own server. So once we connect, we will get the connection information, like in my case, this is IP. So we can connect to database. So we select the table we need, and after that, once selected, we will get the tables on the right side. So to create a dashboard, it's really simple in Power BI. This is really strong tools to create visuals. It's like drag and drop. We click over that. We just need to add some fill, like here in our case, I will put like amount equivalent. So, and the capacity of calculation, it's really impressive in Power BI. So here I'm using a table which contain around maybe 200,000 record. We can select a date, like submitted date. Oops, where should they? Oops, like. We can change the visuals from the top. And over that, we are going to reach those visual will be able to be expanded, so user can drag over that and can do any modification. In our case, I'm going just to make a simple of modification over this. Then I will be able to publish. So I will save first. Then we'll choose our workspace. I will let you know later on how to create a workspace. Got it. So let's go to our visual. Here we have our visual. Sorry, it has been a little bit delayed. I'm just creating a simple visual. I don't want to complicate that now. So I'm going to name it demo webinar. Okay, I'm going to save that. So the idea now is within Power BI, once we create, so I can repeat the steps. First of all, we create the connection from get data. Then we create a visual with drag and drop from the right side. So third step, we need to create what we call a workspace. And that's very important. To create that, once we publish that, we need to, I will come back to my document. So this is at this stage, we have finished the first step. So we download the Power BI desktop, we connect our SQL Server, and we create a simple report. And second step, we are going to install what we call a gateway. The gateway, the importance of the gateway is to create a secure link between our Power BI desktop and our web portal on Microsoft cloud. So to do that, this is a very important step as well. We need to connect. We need to download it over this link. Oops. We need to connect, sorry. We go to Power BI. So I'm going to Google up Power BI sign in. Sorry. So sign in. When we sign in, so we just need to log in with our user and password we create when we installed our Power BI desktop. After that, we need to create a workspace. By default, Power BI is creating my workspace, but with using my workspace, we will not be able to use the API. To use the API, we need to create our own workspace. So here we got a workspace, we call it webinar demo. Oops. And I will give access to myself. I'm not used up with this one. Save. So now we have a workspace. So when we come back to our Power BI, when we click over publish, on this profile, we are going to get this workspace that is shown here. But in my case, I'm using now another, for the demo, actually I'm using a live report. So, and my username is the company related to Xerox. So you will not see the workspace here. But with using your same Power BI here, you can see your profile on the top. With using the same user that you have been connected to the web through it, you can see your workspace here. And you are going to select your workspace to publish your report over this specific workspace. So now, if we come back to our demo, we will see here that we need to install the gateway to give access to this workspace. To install the gateway, we click over the setting button, okay? We will have something called Manage Gateway. Before getting Manage Gateway, if it has not been installed yet, we click on the download and we will put Data Gateway, okay? Data Gateway, you will start by downloading the gateway, okay? When you download your gateway, so I'm not going to download it now because it has been done previously, but you will get something like that. Okay, anyway, we can try it. It's not a big issue. So show it in folder. It's gonna be quick, I guess. Run. Okay, so when you download your gateway, you will upload the program. This was correctly. I will show you over my server. It's much better. I'm sorry for that big issue. Power BI. Sign in. Next. So, up. So, data gateway again. Download. I hope it should be working now. Show a folder. Download gateway. Run. Okay, so now what you need to do, you will select on-premise gateway and you will sign in again. Okay, I accept, update. So, we're gonna be quick.
So the gateway serves as a bridge between the data that you have stored on your on-premise database server and Power BI. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. This is a secure bridge that can connect our Power BI desktop with the Microsoft Cloud. I mean the Power BI Cloud. But
okay, great.
I'm insisting to show that because it's important to give access to the data. So I hope it's gonna be quick now. Let me show you in the meantime. Once it's connected, so we will get something like this. So here we have manage gateway. So the gateway should be named. In this case, we named it Northwind. And once it has been named, we should give access to the data source. So we should go to, in our case, we go to our webinar, so data set. And data source gateway. So we get data setting. Okay, so it's very important to go to, when we publish our report, to go to buy build test report in this case, and to go to data set. Okay, and when we click on data set, we have the data gateway connection, and we need to activate this gateway. Okay, and we need just to click on it, and as you see here, you have the check that we are online and we are good to go online. So after this step, we need to come back to our Power BI and publish. In this case, we will be able to publish our data successfully. Let me try now over this, replace data set. Got it. So now we are going to Alpha platform and we are going to connect again, and we should be able to see the modification over that. Let's try. I hope it will work. So now I have a report that is shown for our user on login. So now normally we should have the Power BI report embedded with the new modification that we did with the new visual. So here it is. We have the demo webinar that you can see here over this demo. So now, if you follow the first step, we just did the gateway. I'm gonna come back to make sure if I have, here it is. So if you remember, we downloaded a few minutes ago the gateway. So to create a gateway, you need to sign in with the same user ID and password as Power BI. Right? So after that, I'm gonna do a demo for you. So here I have our password. Okay, so it is important to configure it. To register a new gateway, we should name this gateway. And if you remember, once we name it, we need to create, of course, a recovery key in case we miss it. We should come back to our web portal. And if you remember here, this is a gateway. So if we name it like webinar demo, we should see here, rather than Northwind, webinar demo. And after that, you need to give access to the gateway. To open the gateway, after this step, then the data will be able to be driven from your local your visual and connection string will be published from your local computer, from your local desktop, Power BI desktop, to Power BI cloud. So this is a very important step to create this gateway, to secure the gateway, and to establish this bridge, as Dave said previously. So now we are in step 2. We installed the gateway, we sign in, we did we give access to the gateway, and we did a publish for the gateway. Now, what is important, once the report is published, now I'm gonna connect to the same report. If you remember, we create, I'm gonna close that. We create this demo webinar. Now what I need to show you, how this report is shown on the web portal. So I'm going to connect on my profile. I will change now my profile, sign out. Okay, I sign in. So I'm gonna connect to with my new username of Microsoft. Sign in. السيرفر اثبت connection احسن. My server connection is much better, so I should sign in from here. Power BI sign in.
While you're doing that, we do have a quick question, and the question is that the data source that you are using uses table objects, but can you also use stored procedures for your data source?
If I understand the question,
yep.
The data procedure that you create within your SQL database, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. For the time being, what we did actually, we connect to our tables, and through Power BI desktop, we can create queries where we can add or remove columns. So it's not like a procedure. You can manipulate the tables through Power BI desktop here when you create over edit. So there's a very powerful tool, but I don't know. It's not. I'm not sure you can connect to your back-end procedure.
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure
Thanks. Okay.
So what is important to know is when you click over edit query here, you will be able to modify your tables, to do some modification over that. As you see here, we did many modifications. This is the step of the modification. We can add column, do many calculation over that. So here we include like
and it looks like you can rename columns too, so you might make them simpler.
Absolutely. We can rename, can merge the query, and this
cool.
I saved here. So I'm not sure it can work. It can be an alternative for some procedure. But
okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much.
If we come back to our sign in Power BI. So here we is my should sign in with my new. It's much power for the server. So now if we go to workspace, if we remember, we published the report with our new visual. We can go over, I have many reports, but here is the report that we create together. So if you see here, there's a demo webinar that we create. So when I published it, if you remember, I select the workspace cash flow status. So now it's gonna be shown in this one because here I have many tables connected together. So it's gonna take a few time to load and the demo webinar will come. So what is important to know, in this link here, you have two important information. You have the group ID that is selected just a slash after groups. And you have the ID of the reports here between two slash after the report. This information are very important and gonna be used later on within our API in order to publish the report through our alpha platform. So I'm going to take that and to save it on my note page of group ID. And here we have, sorry, I will change that. This is my is the report ID. And this is the group ID. So now I'm going to come back to the step to follow. So here, if you see on this step, we create our workspace in Power BI Portal. So to create it, we create it together now. We publish our report like we did for this report. So when we publish it, if you see, we got it through the web portal. So this is the demo webinar that we create together. And now we are going to follow those steps. We select the link, the group ID, and the report ID. Okay. Now I can say we have finished step 2. We are going to move to step 3. For step 3, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. I hope I will be clear over that because it's a little bit Microsoft technology. We know sometimes it's a little bit complicated. So we need to create our API. through Microsoft Azure service. For that, we need to go through this link. So we will sign in with our profile Power BI, same username, same password. In our case, it's the same user I used. We will create like webinar demo. We call an app. We will select server-side web app. Here in this link, we will put the link of the platform where the user is going to access the alpha platform. In our case, it will be this link. We can remove the A5W page, just keep the API. For choosing the API's access, we will select read all dataset, read and write all dataset, and all this, check over that. And we create registered API. So normally, Microsoft should deliver us client ID and client secret.
Yes, but this is a live demo, so it's not going to do it right away. You know how that works,
Yeah,
right?
so you're absolutely right, but I just tested it a few minutes ago. I see.
I know how that works.
I will try on my server anyway, because I think we can reach that. Give me just It may be facing some internet connection, so
Yeah, it could very well be.
I will try again. Webinar demo 2. Good. Oh, no. Still not. Here it is. So I think the issue is my interconnection.
Yeah, sure.
So now we have the client ID. We will note that here, client ID. Client secret. Okay, so now that we have information, I'm going to save that. Webinar demo. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my procedure. So now we have created this app. This app that we are going to use for our API. So what is important to know, and this is really a very important step, I believe that I haven't indicated something in my video over that, and I have faced some issue with some user, so that's why I have mentioned it and highlighted it, and I believe we will create a video for that. So now the idea is that if I'm going to use a profile, let's say I have a Power BI profile name at bible.com. So this Power BI profile, we have a domain here, bible.com. Okay, Microsoft, before creating and granting access to our API, need to know that we are the owner of this domain. So for that, we need to go to over this link. I will put it direct on my server, much better. So we go to this link, and we need to click on add custom domain. Okay. Custom domain name. So here, if you see, this address is not verified. If I'm going to verify it, I want to add it here, like, for example, bible.com. Okay, add domain. Okay, so here, to make the verification, I believe some of the user have access to such issues we face sometimes, that we need to access the DNS where the website is hosted, and to verify that, depending where the website is hosted, it can be GoDaddy, Microsoft, or some other site. We need to take this point and to address that on our DNS. And once we put that in our DNS where the website is hosted, we click verify, and then Microsoft can verify that we are the owner of the domain. So I don't know, Dave, if I have explained it well. It's a little bit tricky, but we need really to
I think this is one of those things where you probably have to see it twice before you figure it out. But so it's good that we've all seen it once.
Absolutely, absolutely. We need just to copy this and to go, like, for example, I don't know if you go to GoDaddy, or I have, so because each hosting company have his own technology in DNS, so we can go to GoDaddy and we connect, and we have access to. So I'm not going to use it now, but
yeah,
I believe because it can be different from GoDaddy to Enom to the hosting company. So
right, they all have their own. So you actually need to know the DNS server, right, to verify that it's yours, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, gotcha.
We just need to make sure that we are the owner of the domain.
Yeah.
So that's why. Okay.
So extra security.
Yes, extra security, absolutely. Once it's done, now we should go to app registration. So I'm going to go to my step to follow. So we are going to grant access now. So we click on Portal Azure, grant access. We will go to app registration. We click here, app registration. So if you see here, when we create webinar demo 2, we create it, and we got the client ID and client secret. So now, through this link, we are going to go to webinar demo 2 to click on it and to do 2 steps. So we need to grant access. Okay, we click on setting and the required permission, Power BI service, and we are going to click over that application permission. Click. All what you see, click on it. No worry. So data set, grant access. Okay, we save. After that, we go to Window Azure. We click over that. And we save. So what could happen actually when we click grant access, if we haven't did previously the domain verification, if we click on grant permission, it's gonna give us that we are not authorized to do. So that's why we have did previously the verification over the domain.
Right.
So that's why now we should be able to grant the access, okay, successfully. So now if we come back to our step, we are actually in the last, I believe, complicated step in this procedure. Now we have created our API, we have grant access over the API, and we did the domain verification. So now what we need to go, where we need to go is to connect to our platform that we create for our user, where they can download the API and start their integration. So we just connect to this platform, we create a alpha platform. So if you are not, you can register over that, log in. So here we have a demo video. So we go over product license, and I would really advise the users that are interested in this API to get the trial first to make sure that it's working well before purchasing anything. And we are really, we will be happy to help them for this integration, even if they are in a trial period. So it's gonna be really interesting for us to help them during the first step, this first step. So they need to add purchase. So here, what is important to know as well, the user will not give us access to anything. He just need to add his username of Power BI, the client ID, and the client secret that he create for this app. So in our case, and for the same, what is important to know, for the same user, he can use as many as he want application. So with the same license. So I click here. So here I have my client ID. Oh, I need to copy. So we will not request any password from the user. We choose API, let's say, and here, okay, submit. And now he can download the file, so in folder. So in this file, we will have 3 grids, Power BI tables. It's a query that they can launch to create the Power BI table on their backend database. And they will have a Power BI display page that can display the report directly through their profile. It's a F5W page we create. So now, to add that to their platform, they will go to Alpha platform. So here it is. They will, oops, web control, project properties. Sorry. First, they need to add the file. So here is the file. Okay, maybe I should. So they will add each one. Here we have the grids created. After that, they can add the F5W page, display page, and after that, they will have the function that they need to add. So here, they need to add Power BI function.javascript, the one that they will find in this downloaded folder. So once they did that, they will go to project properties, and they will need to add the JavaScript function. If they have other functions, so they can just step the line and add the function here, as we see. After that, if they have a tabbed UI, for example, they just need to create a component like we did here. this component, it's gonna be the component that has been downloaded. I mean, this is the Power BI simple grid test. Make sure for the connection string that you select the right table, because if you remember in our connection string, we have each user have his own server. They need just to change the connection string to connect to the table that has been created by the query. In the meantime, in order to launch the query, here they have the SQL query that has been downloaded as well, if you remember. This query, if we open it, so it's gonna be this query. They just need to execute it and to get the table. So now, once done, they need just to connect through those tables with modifying the connection string. So now if you see here, we have many fields related to Power BI. Once it's published, we will get that. So this is the first grid. If you see here, the user, what he needs to do actually, he needs to put his Power BI username, the password of Power BI. In this case, it's saved on his own database, so we do not have access to his password actually. We will need to add the same Power BI client ID and client secret that he put over the platform when he downloaded the app API. And he needs to add as well, very important, the report ID and the group ID. And after that, when he click show, he gonna be able to get the report. So now I just created a demo report before the presentation, and I will show you how it's going to be published. This report is based on around maybe 25 SQL table with heavy data inside. It's going to take a little bit of time to be downloaded. In the meantime, I'm going to show you the second Power BI grid. If we remember, when we download the file, we got this 3 grid. Okay, this 3 grid, once published, they will be similar to those grid. The difference between the first one and second one, the first one is gonna be a light grid where you can just publish immediately the report. In the second one, we try to give the user the possibility to add as many reports as he like for this specific Power BI user. And the possibility as well is to add some filters over the tables. So he can maybe use that to customize the dashboard by user, and it's gonna give him a demo over that. So when he accesses the back end of the A5W page, he can see the code related to that, and he can manipulate the code to get his own customized report. Show the report. So here is a simple report that we create. This is a grid we used actually to list the report. So his user can access that as well. He can see, for example, I'm going to show him a specific report. We have some issue. Okay, so here, as you see, this report has been shown as well from this grid. When I click at the zero holding document group, so I got this report. Let's try this demo one. I hope some password. Okay, so in our case, for example, the user, if we gonna use that, if you remember, we just add a new page here, demo webinar, that we got it now. So he gonna be able as well to use the A5W page at launching, like we did in our case here. In every page, he can have two buttons, refresh and print. So any modification he did in any table here where the visual is based, he gonna just click refresh and he will get the data refreshed as well. So here, if you remember, I have clicked the demo report from this grid where I used filters over project code MAGA. So I got this report filtered on project code MAGA. So in this case, every developer, he gonna use his own customization in the code with using this function. So I don't know, Dave, if there's some question maybe, or
So, okay, so how did you get this portion here into the tabbed UI component? How did you put that on the page? Did you just simply include a URL, or what did you need to do to make this work?
Yes, this is either here. If I'm just going to do the demo.
Yeah, great. So this part I got where it was using the data source. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, great, super.
Yes, we just put API. If you remember, I'm gonna make a demo. So this grid, if you remember, it has been downloaded when I downloaded the API here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the grid, the same grid, Power BI report credential. So we just upload it to our alpha platform. So I just add it through add file. I got it here.
Yeah.
So once it has been added, I move to my tabbed UI and I create that. So I'm gonna publish now, just to make sure that we did. So
sure.
I'm gonna name it maybe demo or I publish bas then عادي.
Great.
Publish up. And now I should close my platform. So here it is, demo Power BI. See? You get it? We click on open button. Oh, sorry, I don't know. I need just to create the credential again. We can add a report here. So the Power BI username.
Yep.
Here we have the report description. We can add like a report ID. ليه مش بتحط هون؟ هيدي same report ID. Let's try it. Group ID. Here we can customize this report description. We can say demo report. User platform, username. Let's try show report.
And show report. And how did you wire up that show report button? What is that set to do?
Okay. In fact, what's happened here, Dave, is there's a web service. So I'm going just to show you the the code for the button.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yes. So here it's gonna connect to the A5W page.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Right in the project, the complete URL. Oh, gotcha. Very cool.
So if you see here,
Mm-hmm.
we are calling the function that we create.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. Through a div.
Yeah.
That is then the A5W page.
Gotcha. Okay.
So here we have the parameters that we give to the function, the client ID, username, and report ID. And this function is related to a web service that on our platform we are going to activate to release the license for that. You know what I mean? It's like we did an authorization to give the user to check the license, even if it's a trial period or the permanent license, and then we can launch the code that the user will need to access the page, the visual. And here, if you see, we have the refresh button here, refresh button, and print report. This is the button that you can see here as well at the top of the page.
I see. So there's like a JavaScript library that goes behind that.
Refresh and print. And user can add his own customized button as well.
Sure.
So I don't know if I have answered the question, but
no, that's very good. Very cool. So we have like 2 minutes left. Maybe we could just run through those steps at a very high level, just so that we can sort of summarize what we've seen here today.
Yes, absolutely. So to summarize that, first of all, first step is an easy step. It's just we need to download the Microsoft Power BI through this to create our own profile. Once we create our own profile, we will go to Microsoft. We'll sign in into. Oops, sorry. We will create our connection string. So here in this case, close. So if you remember from data source here, we create our connection string to SQL Server. We get access to our table. We create our own visual like we did now. And we will stop now here. After that, we go to the web page of we create. Let's go to our sorry. So I just need we connect our Power BI profile through the web. We will create our own workspace here. So add workspace.
And you said you shouldn't use the My Workspace because it doesn't give you access to the API.
Yeah,
is that correct?
Okay. I've tried it previously, actually.
Yeah, so you learned that the hard way. Okay, I see.
To make the API working, we should create our own workspace, absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
After that, once created, we need to come back to Power BI desktop. Sorry. Before that, we need to download, we said the gateway. Okay.
Yes.
Once you download the gateway, we need to publish. So we come back to Power BI desktop, we publish. And once we publish, we will get a message like we need to authorize the gateway. So we come back to our desktop and we go to our report, our workspace, and this, okay, so we come to our data set. And for data set, we will authorize the data here. We will authorize the gateway. But the gateway, if you remember, once we download it, we need to name it. You know, once we download, to name it and to connect to our Power BI profile. After we download the gateway from this link here, if you remember, we get a pop-up window that we are going to use to name the gateway.
Yeah,
I did it like Northwind, if you remember. So gateway, we download it, and here we get something like that. Once downloaded, if you remember, we run it. Next. So let's fade. Oh, because we have already a gateway, so I have did it two times.
So yeah, I wouldn't.
So not just to. So once we publish the first time, after that we should go to the web page.
Yeah.
So Power BI, we have what we call data set here. So we create on data set, and we create on data setting. And here we have the gateway information. So we need to make sure that the gateway is authorized. So click, and here you see you are good to go. So we can, the bridge is created, I mean, between the cloud and local.
And was the gateway authorization, was that the one that required you to specify your DNS server and all that, or is that a different step?
No, absolutely not. The DNS server is really only dedicated for domain verification.
For domain, right. Gotcha.
It's a simple manipulation we do, but I mean, we are obliged to do that to grant the access, because Microsoft needs to make sure that we are the owner of the domain. So
sure, absolutely, yeah.
So
not just anyone's connecting to the data.
Absolutely. So here we are. Absolutely. When this is an important step here. When you create the gateway, PCM Live as a gateway has been created when we open and run this exe file. So we create here the connection to the SQL Server. I maybe forget to mention that. It's very important. Within the gateway, you can have many connections. So in this case, there's a connection to the SQL Server where we need to mention the IP of the server, the username of the database, and the password as well.
Gotcha.
So this is very important, because this gateway is going to be a bridge between the server and the cloud, and your local desktop is going to be connected to your server. So it's gonna be via your server. So
gotcha. Yeah.
So now I'm just going to summarize that. So once the gateway is done, so as we see, we will identify our report ID and group ID after publishing. So once published, we get something like that here. If you remember, we published the report. We get in the browser link group ID and report ID.
Yeah.
So in this case, I need to click on the report, which is better. So here we have a group ID, you see, and report ID. So once done, after that, we need to save that in a secure place, report ID. And now we are able to create our API app. So we will connect again to the Microsoft. We are in step 3 now. We will connect to Power BI app. So if you remember, so we will sign in with our Power BI user. We will mention our API, our app name. We can we can write anything we want, I mean, for app name. We will select server-side web app. Here we put the link of the alpha platform. In our case, it was this. So we put it 2 times, similar. We check all the checkbox, and we register the app, and we got client ID, client secret. So we'll save them, as you see here, client ID, client secret.
Right.
So now we have these 4 information that are very important to make the connection. So after that, I'm going to come back to my steps. And we are going to absolutely to verify the domain before granting the access. Yep. Yes, this is the issue. Before granting the access to the app, we need to verify the domain. So there's a link. It's a simple task, but it's a little bit tricky.
Right. Yes. Right. We went over that.
So we need to add custom domain as we did by accessing the DNS. So now, after that, once done, we need to grant the access to the API, to the app we create. So we connect to this app. So we click here, app registration. So we will get that, and we will have our app that we create. Make sure to click view all application, because by default it's gonna be filtered. So we click webinar app, and then you will connect to setting, and you will go to properties, and you will give access. You will grant access.
Got it.
Registration. Setting. Grant properties. Required permission. No.
So quite a few steps to get it all set up, but it looks like the designing of the dashboards and stuff is actually pretty easy once you get into it. A lot of drag and drop and sort of porting to fields and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is neat.
It's very important to know the most complicated things are gonna be done one time, just at the beginning.
That's good.
After that, you just I'm just if you look here, I'm just enjoying reporting here, and creating many reports, and I'm selecting them just through this grid here.
Cool.
So if you access the Alpha platform, I'm getting like a list of reports, if you see here.
Yep.
So sorry. So each time I create a report, so I just only mention report ID, group ID, and show the report. I got the report. So
gotcha.
That's why I'm gonna say at the beginning it gonna take time, maybe the connection to get the API, but once done, we need just to drag and drop visuals with our Power BI desktop and just click show, and we got them on Alpha. So
that is so cool. Bachir, thank you very much for presenting this. I know a lot of people are very appreciative of you sort of demystifying what goes into Power BI, and you do have a URL there where you've listed out those steps. So if anyone needs that URL and they couldn't get it during the session, just send me an email to guides@alphasoftware.com, or if they can, and I can also pass along anything you need to.
Our website.
Okay.
There's a grid called the Byte API. So you just need to API here, Abyss API.
Okay, superb.
Okay. So they have all the information on this link.
So bibuilt.com.
Yes, I will put it here.
That's it. That's all you need. Awesome. Hey, thank you very much. I very much appreciate you doing this. So thank you again for presenting. I'd like to thank everyone who attended here today and stuck through. And if you have questions or would like to see future things, go ahead and send an email to guides, GUIDES, @alphasoftware.com.
You can mention that as well.
Okay. There's an email for Bachir, info@bibuilt.com. Thanks again.
Appreciate your help, Dave. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care. See you guys next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Sounds